Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today I will be talking about the Archer class and how to build the best set for you. It is about time. I've been delaying this guide for so long because I wanted to wait for floor 7, and now that it's finally here, it is time. Alright, so let's start with the armor. I'll talk about each armor set and then conclude with all of them. The first armor set is full legendary or epic skeleton master armor. This armor set increases your damage with arrows by 5% and will get 25% more damage with arrows with a full set. The second armor set is 3-4 Necro armor with Tarantula helmet. The Necrolord armor is a very good effective HP set, and with the Tarantula helmet you will be dealing more damage. The third armor set is 3-4 Wither armor with Tarantula helmet. The Wither armor here gives the same effective HP as Necro armor, however, it has an additional ability to reduce damage you take from withers by 10% and also spawns a wither minion every 30 seconds that goes nearby enemies and explodes. The fourth set is 2-4 Shadow Assassin armor with Skeleton Master or Zombie Knight chestplate and Tarantula helmet. Shadow Assassin armor is a favorited damage armor set, but what makes it even better is that it also has decent effective HP. Obviously not the same as Necro armor, but it's still really good. You can choose either Zombie Knight chestplate or Skeleton Master, but it's more beneficial for you to go Skeleton Master. The only downside is effective HP. The fifth set is, which you probably already guessed it, is 3-4 Shadow Assassin armor with Tarantula helmet. The same as the last build, but with the Shadow Assassin chestplate. The only reason why I did not include it in the last one is because the chestplate goes for around 40 million right now. Set number 6 is full Shadow Assassin armor. Usually you'd go for this for the full set bonus, which gives you 1 strength for every enemy you kill in dungeons. Next up we have full superior armor 5-starred. It has to be converted to a dungeon armor. You can only use it at Catacomb 30, but the effective HP and damage is insane. And now for set number 8, we have full Frozen Blaze armor, or instead of the helmet, you can use the Tarantula helmet. This set requires Catacomb 29, similar to Superior. It has good effective HP and damage. Finally, you got 3-4 Necron armor with Tarantula helmet. The Necron armor is a new set that came out in floor 7. This set is close to the Shadow Assassin armor, good damage wise and effective HP, but also has the same ability as Wither armor where it reduces damage you take by 10% from withers. In conclusion, the Skeleton Master set does a lot of damage if you use the bow mostly. However, very squishy in late floors like floor 6 and 7. If you're going for a tanky archer, however, 3-4 Necromancer armor with Tarantula helmet 5-starred is the way to go, although you will do less damage compared to the other armor sets. In addition, you can use the Wither armor for effective HP, but really expensive right now, and only makes a difference from Necro armor if you're doing floor 7. For a set that does a lot of damage and has decent effective HP, you got the 3-4 Shadow Assassin armor with Tarantula helmet. Full Shadow Assassin armor is good too, but in my opinion, the Tarantula helmet is better if you have a lot of strength. The only reason for that is because of the abilities that gives you 1 crit damage for every 10 strength. If you can't afford the Shadow Assassin chestplate, you can use the Skeleton Master chestplate or Zombie Knight chestplate. Skeleton Master is more damage than the Zombie Knight but less effective HP, meaning you will be slightly squishy. Moving on to the Frozen Blaze armor 5-starred with Tarantula helmet. This set requires Catacomb 29, so many of you might not be able to use this, but it has good effective HP and damage. But honestly, I don't think it's worth it because of how expensive it is to 5-star it, and the only way it's good if you have a legendary Blaze pet because of the 40% buff of stats. If you do not have the Blaze pet, you can wait for the 5-star superior armor when you hit Catacomb 30 for an armor that's better in my opinion. And then finally, the 3-4 Necron armor with Tarantula helmet is really good compared to Shadow Assassin because of taking less damage to withers, which is pretty much 100% of the floor 7 boss room. Really helpful on floor 7, does good damage, but it has less strength compared to Shadow Assassin armor, therefore Tarantula helmet and Baby Yeti will be less effective if you use them. Still a good set if you're high Catacomb level and extra damage doesn't make a difference for you. Now that we've talked about the armor, let's talk about the reforges. The best reforge for armor is Ancient, and if that's too expensive, you can use the Fierce. Ancient is the new reforge that you get from floor 7, and the item that gives it to you is Precursor Eye. Now let's move to pets. Finding the best pet for you can be difficult, but hopefully I will help you choose the best pet for you. Let's not waste any time and jump straight into it. I will start by explaining each pet and then summarize them and tell you what you should use. The first pet is Wither Skeleton. This pet gives you strength, crit damage, crit chance, defense, and intelligence as base stats. Also has the ability where it makes you take less damage from skeletons and deal more damage to wither skeletons. The second pet is Skeleton. It gives you crit damage and chance as base stats, and increases your arrow damage by 20%, which is tripled while in dungeons. Gain combo hit for every bow hit, giving you 3 strength, and the pet shoots an arrow dealing 60 times your crit damage to mobs close to you. The third pet is Blue Whale. Gives good amount of HP and defense because of the ability that gives you 3 defense for every 20 health. The fourth pet is Baby Yeti. Gives strength and intelligence as base stats, and has an ability that gives you defense depending on your strength. Fifth pet is Ender Dragon. It has crit damage, crit chance, and strength as base stats, and also buffs your aspect of the dragon sword by a lot and increases your stats. The final pet is Blaze. Gives intelligence and defense as base stats, and also buffs Blaze armor by a percentage and doubles the effect of hot potato books. Now to conclude, the Ender Dragon pet is a really good damage pet, but the issue is that it is really expensive and not worth its price. If you have the money and you already have this pet, using this pet would not be a problem. If you're looking for a damage pet, the Skeleton and Wither Skeleton pets are really good. Especially for floor 7, the Wither Skeleton's ability that makes you deal more damage to Wither Skeletons is really helpful. The Skeleton pet is also really good. The difference between them is that Wither Skeleton is better for clearing rooms, while Skeleton is better for damage per second against mini-bosses. Moving on, those pets do not give you good effective HP, and you're still squishy. So if you want an effective HP pet, you got Blue Whale and Baby Yeti. Both amazing pets because the Blue Whale gives you 3 defense for every 20 HP, and the Baby Yeti gives you defense depending on your strength. Considering you will have a lot of strength or HP, both scale really well, resulting in giving you insane amount of effective HP. Although if you had to choose, the Baby Yeti is better because you will have a lot of strength as an archer. Sadly, it's somewhat expensive, so if you can't afford it, you can use a Blue Whale as an alternative. Finally, we have the Blaze pet. If you remember earlier, we've talked about the Frozen Blaze armor. Well, if you're going to be using it, you have to use this pet with it for its full potential. But only use this if you're using Frozen Blaze. The reason for that is because of the ability that doubles Hot Potato Book's effect, and also buffs your Blaze armor by a percentage. That small increase in HP and stats scale really good, making this pet really good in dungeons. Overall, the Baby Yeti is the best pet if you want effective HP. If you can't afford that, Blue Whale is also good. A Skeleton pet is if you want good damage per second against mini-bosses and single mobs. The Wither Skeleton pet is if you want good pet for clearing rooms, including floor 7 boss room. And Blaze pet if you want to use the Frozen Blaze armor. Let's move on to pet items. There are so many pet items, and honestly, it always comes down to preference. But here are the ones I recommend. The Dwarf Turtle Helmet if you want no knockback, but remember that it doesn't work with floor 7 boss room. And you can use the Spooky Cupcake for additional 30 strength and 20 speed. Alright, let's talk about weapons now. The weapons I will be mentioning are Spirit Bow, Last Breath Bow, Death Bow, Super Undead Bow, Machine Gun Bow, Hurricane Bow, and Bone Meringue. The first one I'll be talking about is Machine Gun Bow. This bow is very underrated for early stages, does decent amount of damage and has no catacomb requirement, and also cheap. Overall a good starter bow. And speaking of a starter bow, we also got Super Undead Bow. It's the upgraded version of Undead Bow. It does decent amount of damage, but like I said, only for starters. Next bow we have the Hurricane Bow. You might have heard a lot about this bow and how good it is, but honestly, just a mid-game bow. Better than the machine gun in my opinion. It's mostly used with Rend Ultimate Enchant that deals more damage depending on how many arrows are on the mobs. Now for the Spirit Bow. This bow does 2% more damage to undead mobs on every 1% missing HP. You might think it's not that a lot, but when you have 50% HP, that doubles the damage to undead mobs. A good endgame weapon and really helpful to be using it when you're dead. Another bow is Death Bow. This bow is fairly new, so not many people know about it, but it has an ability where it does 100% more damage to undeads, so it can be very helpful for floor 6 boss room. If you want to compare it to the Spirit Bow, it is better for undead mobs, but other than that, Spirit Bow is still better. And our final bow is Last Breath. It's an expensive bow, but it might be worth its price for killing mini-bosses and mobs that have a lot of defense. It is mostly used as a secondary to lower the defense and then use a more damaging weapon like Bone Meringue to finish them off. Which brings us to our last weapon, Bone Meringue. Everyone knows about Bone Meringues, but if you don't, it's basically what the name is. It's a boomerang where it throws a bone at a short distance and then comes back dealing double the damage. Really OP when using 4 or 5 of them. Although quite expensive and not everyone can afford it. Those are all the weapons. If you want to reforge them, you have either Spiritual, Precise, Rapid, or Unreal. The best one, however, is spiritual. Next up, we have the helpful items. The first item is Voodoo Doll. It's good to slow down mobs and deal decent amount of damage. The second item is Weird Tuba. This item gives you 30 strength and 30 speed for 20 seconds. The third item is Ice Spray. This one is really expensive, but it's actually really helpful killing fast mobs like Shadow Assassins because it has an ability where it freezes mobs for 5 seconds, giving you time to do as much damage as possible. The fourth item is Florid or Ornate Zombie Sword. The Florid Zombie Sword is the upgraded version of the Ornate and has a good healing ability where it heals you for 168 HP plus 5% of your total health. And then the final two items are Mana Flux and Overflux. The Overflux is the upgraded version of Mana Flux, and they both give you more strength and increase your regen. Finally, we have Talisman Reforges. Reforging talismans for Archer is quite easy because your only focus is doing damage, and attack speed isn't important at all. So, you should reforge common to epic to shaded, and legendary or mythic to strong. And that's it. If you found this guide helpful, I would really appreciate it if you press that like button. It truly helps. And if you want to see more Skyblock videos, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'd gladly help you. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.